King Behr, and I'm the host of a new true crime podcast, One Step Over the Line. In today's episode, we'll be talking to John Daryl Boyd, one of the most infamous smugglers from the 70s. Here we go. And I'm having the luck of my lifetime to spend 420 being, our holiday, and spend it interviewing John. And John has gone over a bunch of great stories, and we're going to continue on. But I have a gift for you, John, because nobody should go to bed at night without some flour. I've brought a couple different flavors for you, and a little...
Absolutely.
Like sometimes you show up at someone's house, you bring a bottle of wine, a little some Entenmann's, and brought what 420 people like. With John Daryl Boyd, in my lifetime, one of the most famous smugglers as I grew up, nicknamed the Smith Brothers by the DEA because him and his brother Tracy kind of, in younger years, looked like the two guys on the cough drop box, the Smith Brothers. Beards, long hair, and even as a kid growing up in Hollywood, Florida, I knew about these guys. Where did your brother learn how to fly a plane? I mean, I know he's Special Forces Green.
But he just went out and took lessons.
A single or a twin that first time?
They always came in twins. Yeah. On a DC-6.
Now you're holding some serious flour.
Now you can fly from Behr to Chicago.
Right.
In one shot.
But so tell me the story that I've never heard. This will be good.
This is a twin-engine airplane coming in. I'm out there in the Behr with the Behr Indians. We're going to load it up. And then lands.
It lands, they all pass the bales along.
It's 1,200 pounds, don't take very long.
3 minutes, 4 minutes.
But the two pilots come in. My brother isn't on this flight. Two pilots come in. And Indians come out, everything gets loaded. So they get ready.
Won't start.
Damn plane will not start. We tried everything. We tried jumping it. We tried all kinds of crap. Nothing would work. So now we're going to have to unload and burn the plane. I go to the pilot. I said, listen. I said, aren't these rotary engines? They said, yeah. I said, isn't that like a goddamn lawnmower? They said, yeah. Tell the Colombians, get me some rope. They have them back up to the engine. I get up to tie on the nose. This is an experiment. I never did this.
Of course.
So,
as you said, I've never heard this story before, I promise.
Then I tell, there's about four Colombians. I said, now, on 3, turtle, those, trade it. Whoop. The dogs looked. Damn look fall up. So, do it again. Well, now I know. Well, now, we back up again and tie it off a different way. Little dose straight. Boom! Plane starts. The pilots are looking at me like I'm Jesus H. Christ or something. So, how did you do that? How did you know to do that? I said, how did you not know how to do it? Yeah.
So now you've got one engine going. Did that power up the other Magneto?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Because the right engine cracked. Does that crack?
How it sent the power to the Magneto.
Well, that's exactly what we did. Your second engine just cranks right out. They take off. Everything's fine. There's nobody that I knew had ever heard of anybody doing something like that.
That's an excellent story.
And they were successful.
Got the load.
We got the money. We got the pay. We got everything. Everybody was happy, And those guys went and told everybody in the Behr, what that gringo did.
The first trip you said you had actually been involved in, that somebody else was putting on, was a 50,000-pound trip.
Yeah.
And that was about 1974. So the 50,000 pounds in 1974 was the beginning of big loads. That's tractor trailer full of weed. So the first trip, the first drug deal was probably one of the biggest ones at the time. Now, you mentioned being in Colombia, so just going to Colombia's big balls. Did you know someone when you went to Colombia that you were in business with?
A friend of mine got picked up in jail over in Bimini. It's in the Bahamas. I don't know what he was doing.
Fox Hill.
Yeah. And
Horrible prison.
They're in Fox Hill. Came back. My friend got out, came back, told me about this guy, and they had arranged a deal. I think my brother and his girlfriend went over in a small boat, picked this guy up off of Bimini, and brought him back in.
Smuggled the guy in. Customs has to know, and you're supposed to go on the customs channel and tell them you're coming into America and you've been into a foreign country and you want to declare yourself.
Well, we don't
do that too often.
We forgot to do that.
I had a funny feeling.
We bring him back. I meet Pedro. I take him down to the airport, Miami International.
Okay, wow.
So we went there. The Colombian guy knows that Pedro's a Colombian. Just weighs him on in.
No custom, no papers, no passport.
Nothing. He didn't have anything.
Right.
So we just put him on the plane. He had a ticket because I bought him a ticket.
Right.
He became our contact. He knew a bunch of guys in Cali
Yeah.
and whatnot. He lived in Cali. And I went down to stay in El Rodadero. He came down and met. We had to deal with the Colombian army. This is the Colombian army looking to catch and show us clandestine airstrips out in the desert. And sometimes we'd have to go and make it bigger depending on the size of the plane and this, that, the other. The army would come out in the morning. They got their automatic weapons and all this other stuff. So we would try to get out there right before the sun went down. We did what we had to do, but here we run into this column. And we look at them, they look at us. They got their guns, we got our gun. I got radios, we got all kinds of crap. And they go, that's okay, the sun's going down. You didn't want to get caught out there by the Guajira Indians at nighttime. That was what the big deal was. That's why we were armed. And I'm not going out there with a bunch of crazy-ass Indians. And what they used to do, we're going out, to load a plane.
Right.
And my brother's flying in. They looked like they were dressed to go to a church.
Right.
And they laid down in the damn dirt out in the Guajira Desert on the airstrip. And we got, and I'm just shaking my head going, what the hell? Plane would come in, load up, take off. We'd get rid of everything. No paperwork, no nothing. That worked out pretty good. Except when we ran into the army and the sun was still shining, you might get your ass shot off.
You never really were a drug dealer. You never sold pot like by an ounce or a pound. And at any time prior to, you were a smuggler from day one.
Yeah, I didn't smoke pot, so there wasn't any around the house.
Yeah.
I didn't sell joints.
Yeah. I started out selling pot.
I didn't sell ounces. I didn't sell pounds. But if you brought a truck over to our shop and left it there,
you'd fill it.
And come back, there'd be 1,000, 2,000 pounds.
I know exactly how much a Ford F-150 long bed with a camper top of 1,000 pounds, maybe 12. I'm having a good day.
I went and bought 4 4-wheel drives one night with toppers, cameras, and all that. And then we outfitted them. That's when the business was building.
Let me ask you, now this is math. I mean, this had to be 57 years ago, so we're not holding it to you. But so, I know from my side, 1974, 75, pound of weed was $245. A bale was about 10 grand because that's between 40 and 55 pounds in it. How much were you paying for it at Columbia Dairy then?
We were getting most of it at $100. And we added 100 to 110 on there because we figured the 10, the extra 10 would cover fuel with the pilots or whatever the hell they do. But then we would sell it at 200, 210.
Right.
So everybody made out. Once they saw that how I did business. They never asked me for money up front. They just asked me for nothing.
You were serious.
They knew that if we didn't get caught in the Guadalajara, the Army didn't shoot us. We loaded the plane. It got in, got unloaded. I never had to pay up front because they knew if I did my 5 things,
They were getting paid.
they were getting paid.
And I'll tell you something, like I talk about it in my book, working on Jamaica, you never want to pay for the load, because if you do, they're in. You might put up money for the pay the cops. You might put up money to buy fuel. You might put up money for the load crew, which you don't want to. You want to have a vested interest on their end, so they make sure you get out of there. So they make 100,000, 120,000 gross revenue on one trip in 1974. Put that into today's dollars, that's well over $500,000. This is Ken Behr from the True Crime Podcast, One Step Over the Line. I want to take a minute to talk about a charity that's important to me. It's called freedomgrow.org. This is a charity set up for nonviolent marijuana prisoners to help them with their lives in prison, help them when they get out of jail a little bit, but really importantly, help their families. So during holidays, Christmas, whatever, we get money to the families to help them get through the holidays, and school supplies for their kids. Some of these people are doing 25, 35, even life in prison for marijuana, which is ridiculous. Please help. Donate to freedomgrow.org. Did you ever use boats? Quick question. Only planes. Because most people don't cross. They either are boaters or flying or,
We had a 66-foot Chris Craft,
Nice.
72-footer. He had a 103-foot small freighter.
No shit.
The Colombians have a load coming into New York City.
Right.
The guy's chickened out. The New York guy.
Oh.
So the Colombians called me
Ah.
and told me, hey, you're a rescue guy. Denison took the 57-footer. They stole the money from me to buy.
Oh.
But I didn't find out until later. I have Denison give me coordinates where he's in Vegas, so these guys go up there. Then, we tell the Colombians on the radio, and then I tell them coordinates, what to do. I'm all off of Rhode Island. They're also sitting up there waiting. My brother goes out. Tracy goes out. They offload the 11,000 pounds.
Sorry.
Right? They got no money because they had to go from New York City when they were supposed to get money, get fuel, the whole 9 yards. They didn't have anything. They're sitting there dead, basically, after they offloaded that.
Water, food, money, they're done.
So I said, okay. Told Jensen, give him 20 grand.
Right.
So they can. First of all, the Coast Guard comes out and boards them. Tries to board them. They say, no speaking English, all this bullshit. And these guys, they said, okay, we'll be back. In the meantime, I have Jensen come out. Then they offloaded.
Right.
If they'd have gone on, then they would have found it. Next day they come back.
Right.
There ain't a goddamn seed, nothing. We're playing the bills in it. There's the whole damn 9 yards. And they got the pot in to a house that Jensen had it up there, was renting, and they're right on the water. So they offloaded at this big house. Well, Jensen is an asshole. And he thinks he's the smartest son of a bitch in the world. I tell him, my brother's up there with him. What he runs into is he's got everybody he ever knew who've never seen more than 3 ounces of weed.
God.
They're all coming. They got 4,000 pounds on the property lined up near a stone wall. Well, the neighbors finally had it up to here. making noise. They're partying, screaming and yelling, snorting coke, all kinds of crap. My brother, he wasn't with that crew. He was by himself.
Right.
Then he came back and he got nailed the next day. But the Coast Guard goes back out the next day. They got food. They got booze. They got money. And they had already been fueled up.
Those fueled them up, like you had to ship go out and fuel and
But they had money.
right. It's like a fire.
And so they sent somebody out. So the whole goddamn bunch of them, 22 of them, get busted. Like, gets busted. They got all kinds of cocaine, and Jennison's got $360,000 or $365,000 in cash. So they get the cash. They got the 57-footer. They got everything. They got
It was coke, guns, 20,000 pounds of weed. It was all less.
stuff.
You ever notice that?
And this was all Jennison.
You ever notice that a lot of times you'll get busted and you'll know there's only 10 pounds, but somehow in the newspaper it's 20. You know, it's like one time I got busted, I got busted with 1,400 pounds, and then my papers was only 1,240. And what happened to the other bales? I know I loaded 1,400 pounds. Where's the 80 with two bales in this? And they didn't make it to the.
So let me tell you the story about the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Skipper Chuck, let's hear about it.
Not only did we do a good thing, it saved our asses years later. And this is why. Me and my brother driving around, and I had a brand new black on black Eldorado. Beautiful car. But Tracy's driving, I'm doing some paperwork. I said, Trace, I'm listening to the radio, something. Why don't we go down and get Jerry's kids some money? I had a bunch of money in the back seat. He said, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go. It was at Channel 7 on US 1 and in Miami.
Right where it is.
And my uncle Neil, used to be an executive there. So we went down there, and there's people all over the damn place. Skipper Chuck.
I remember Skipper Chuck.
I was on Skipper Chuck's show when I was about 12 years old.
So Skipper Chuck used to have on Johnson Street, he had the Skipper Chuck daycare set on up by 441. But Skipper Chuck, for those of you that aren't from South Florida, know, he was kind of the Captain Kangaroo of South Florida.
Yes.
He had his own show. He wore his hat. He'd have the kids come on, and he'd be like, hey, kids, welcome to the Skipper Chuck show. Skipper Chuck show. The kid get it out. But
I was on his program,
yeah.
which was hilarious, I thought, to me. 20 years later, whatever the hell it was. So anyways, we go down there, and I had this big placard, like a lined index card.
Yeah.
And I wrote this Skipper Chuck's to the kids from the infamous Smith Brothers. And I signed it, the blockade runners on the bottom, but I wrote a bunch of stuff in there about, money for you guys, da. So Skipper Chuck's up on this damn platform. It's about 5'10" up or 6 foot or whatever.
Right.
And he's swinging a microphone on a cord because they didn't have the walk-around microphones or whatever.
And not to interrupt, but if I remember correctly, so Jerry Lewis Telethon was to raise money for muscular dystrophy.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have live feeds from around the country.
All over.
Right. So
Which is the biggest thing every year.
every year, I was a Jerry Lewis fan from when he was with Dean Martin and all that shtick.
Yep.
And he would be up there for 24 hours straight. So the thing is that you have live feeds from Miami, LA, New York, here. So going on all night long. So just to Skipper Chuck wants the camera on him. He wants to get the airtime. He wants to, so go ahead. So now you're knocking on Skipper Chuck's door. He's on stage. The cameras are there.
It was a
Live feeds. No tape.
It had to be a commercial break or something.
Yeah.
Because he was just swinging this damn microphone around. So we go up and, Skipper Chuck, come here. So he comes over and he kneels down. He goes, "What's up, boys?" He says, "What do you got?" I said, "We got something for Jerry's kids." I said, "You got to give us enough time to get the hell out of here." Because I signed it to Smith for it.
Right.
He knew who the Smith brothers were. Then he realized, oh shit. Right? So, now listen. I want you to read the card, but let us get out the door.
Right.
So, I don't know if there's some dumbass cop's going to jump here. Who knows what's going to happen? So he says, okay, we didn't get 70 foot away. And he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what just happened. 2 young men came there and held up the card. He held up to $10,000.
Right.
He says they gave Jerry's kids $10,000 in cash, and then they read the cards. And by that time, we're out far.
And so just so people know, what do you think I know you must know the numbers. What?
48,000.
So just at $50,000. Imagine today somebody walking in and putting $50,000 cash into some telethon or some crazy
It was like
gift. Wonderful.
And what happened, back then, the whole top of Florida is involved in the marijuana trade. And we knew that. Everybody knew about it. They went, "Oh no, Smith brothers aren't going to make assholes out of us." They started sending money in and whatnot. I don't know how much or who they were. I didn't know, but everybody knew who the hell we were.
Right.
Somebody said, "Oh, the Smith brothers, they aren't going to screw us like that,"
Right. They can't make us look bad.
No, exactly. We hauled ass. Next day, of course, we're
In the front page of the Miami Herald.
there it is right there. Did they cough up? Did the Smith brothers, did they cough up?
Yeah. The Smith brothers cough up. Yeah. I know people that remember. I was with 2 or 3 people this week when I told them I was coming up to see you. They knew exactly who you were. They know the day of the Miami Herald. They knew the story better than me. They go, "I remember the day of the Miami Herald. I saw them on TV do it. I was watching the telethon." I mean,
Oh, yeah.
legendary South Florida legacy stories. Guys that were there in the beginning, that went down to Columbia, that brought in the first spot.
We're going to be finally, we fought them, and we finally had them cop out. Right, my brother and I. So we go before Judge Edward B. Davis was a federal judge. Ugler used to be our judge, but then Edward B. Davis, he was a country boy from the Carolinas. This is hilarious. So, we're in there, in the courtroom. There's cameras and all this stuff, and people and our family and everybody. So, we're before Edward B. Davis. He says to me, now listen to this part. This is the part I kind of forget about.
Let me just say something. I've been listening since the second I walked in the door. Don't worry. So is everybody else yet, I'm sure.
The judge asked me, "Mr. Boyd, do you have anything to say?"
Sentencing statement. Well, if they said, yeah.
So I tell him, "Yes, sir, Your Honor." I said, "I know you're going to give us time, but my brother's sitting right next to me." I said, "I want you to give my brother's time to me. He has 2 young kids. He had 2 kids when he was on the run." I said, "I want him to be able to take care of the kids. My kids are older." I said, "and he can take care of the whole family. He's the second oldest. I'm the oldest."
Right.
The judge looks at me, and he looks at my brother. He goes, "Okay, everybody in my chambers, excluding me and my brother and the U.S. Marshals." And they go in there. He sits down and puts his cowboy boots up on his desk.
Yep.
And he leans there. He's a big old dude too. He goes, "Well," he says, "what am I going to do with these Robin Hoods?" He says, "You know something? I was watching a Jerry Lewis telethon." He said, "When they gave that money to Jerry's kids, I damn near fell off my couch on my head." That's how we call it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And he says, Mr. Sullivan, Patrick Michael Sullivan, he's on the Discovery Channel thing. He was on it. You know what he said bad about me?
What?
Nothing. But ever. So he goes, Mr. Sullivan, what do you think I ought to do? Sullivan goes, Your Honor, we don't care. Do whatever you want.
The prosecutor said that.
No. Yes.
Really?
Patrick Michael Sullivan.
He didn't have any big gripe with that. That's amazing.
No. The U.S. Marshals, what do you think I ought to do? He goes, we don't care.
Amazing.
The only ones that were assholes was the DEA because they could never catch us with anything.
Did the FDLE have any part of that or not? Just the DEA?
No, this is federal study. Which was good because federal takes precedent.
Over.
So
Yeah.
we're copping out to state and federal.
Right.
So
All slate one.
Sure.
All right.
we'd already been locked up for 2 years.
All right. So you thought,
Right? So we knew to the day we were going to get out. After he says, okay, everybody back in the courtroom. That's when he came in and he asked me, no, that was before. I gave my little spiel. Then he went in and he comes back in and out. Then he says to my brother, he says, Mr. Boyd, do you have anything to say? My brother's still stunned. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell my kids. I didn't tell anybody. And I wanted him to take care of the kids. So he asked my brother, do you have anything to say? He says, no, Your Honor. So he winds up giving us 4 years, knowing we had already done 2 years.
a couple months.
Shit. Whatever it was, it wasn't downloaded.
So everything that you do today, all that killer weed you get from your dispensary or from your local dealer or whatever, guys like this are the reason that weed's available today. And you don't have to go to jail and you don't have to go to Columbia. And, it's mainstream America now. Didn't happen overnight. I have to tell you, Daryl, thank you for letting us into your home, your property, spend time with you, your dogs, and your Doodle.
Hey, Doodle.
And an amazing roach. Peel the onion back of your life story. Thank you, my friend. And I have to tell you, we have not gotten into it. We broached the subject. This man,
I'm telling you, you're not getting away easy.
he wants me to, I have to set up a tent outside. But we'll be back because we'll do this show. And I think we're going to have to do an episode 2. So I'm sure we'll be back. This may even end up being 4 episodes. Again, I can't thank you enough for letting us into your hall. Thank you.
Thanks you.
And thanks for peeling the onion back just a little bit, guys.
There's
a lot more.
That one.
$250,000 people were arrested for cannabis last year, 92% for simple possession. America's longest running war is the war on drugs and its own people. My name is Ken Behr. I'm a first-time author, and I've written a book about it called One Step Over the Line, Confessions of a Marijuana Mercenary. Available on Kindle, Amazon, and Audible. Or go to my website, onestepovertheline.com.